Hey guys, Kev here, and it's knife fighting time. Just real quick intro. Gonna be doing a blade battle for the Battle of the Thumb Stud Titanium Knife. I've been alluding to this for a while, so I have the first contender. The quiet carry. Waypoint. An absolutely fantastic knife. We're talking titanium, talking Van Eyck super clean, on washers with a wire deep carry clip that is reversible. That is important. And yeah, it's an absolutely awesome knife. Comes in at $295. And the next contender. This is the first three-way battle I think I've done. The next contender is the Tactile Knife Co. Rock Thumb Stud. Coming in with 20 CV and this epic milled handle. You'll see it up close in a second. It's so funny how it looks plain. But trust me, you'll see in a second when the lighting and everything's better on the desktop. Titanium handle, 20 CV blade, made in Texas. Liner lock, coming in at $300. And finally, the small but mighty, the newest contender. No, not the newest, but the smallest. It's not the newest because the Quiet Carry came out first. This came out, and then the Rockwall just dropped in Thumb Stud. This is the MBK Monterey Bay Bang Knives Sea Otter, made in the foggy, sleepless town of Monterey Bay, where they don't even have mailboxes or addresses. I don't know. It's true, though. Check it out. Awesome knife. This one has titanium scales. It is sporting 154 cm. That's a bit of a difference right there. We're all stonewashed on this one. And this one has a hollow grind. It's made by Sanford Owen and Ray Laconico, as well as Lindy and Richie. Awesome team over at MBK. You guys know I love them. So there it is. That's the MBK. We got the Tactile Rockwall Thumb Stud. And we got the Waypoint. Let's see who's going to win this blade battle. Let the knife fight begin. Are you ready to rumble? Bang. All right, here we go. Let the battle begin. So I'm going to do this as a three-way battle, obviously. I have my score sheet here, guys. You know how it goes. Battle of the Studs. We got the Quiet Carry Waypoint, Tactile Knife Co. Rockwall Studs, and the MBK Sea Otter. Categories: materials, price, perceived value, aesthetics, ergos, cutting, carry, sounds, fit and finish, action, and leftability. Now, I always say this. Righties, you can remove this category if you feel like it and figure out the winner if it's any different because of that, but I got to include it as a lefty. Now, because I have three knives, I'm going to do this a little differently. Instead of doing 1 point or 0 points, I'm going to do it where each category you can assign 3 points, 2 points, or 1 point. So the knife with the best materials is going to get 3. Second best 2, and then worst or last 1 point. And that's how we'll do it all the way through. And then whoever has the most points, obviously, is going to win at the end. If we have a tie, I'll smash them together until one of them chips, and then we'll go from there. Damn, wish I had Magna Cut now. Fuck. Just kidding. Anyway, that's how we're going to do it. All right? So, let's start with LaCroix. I'm just kidding. Got my key lime. All right, we're going to go with materials here. I think this one's going to be fairly easy. So the Sea Otter here, I guess first I could give you a quick overview of each one. very briefly because I kind of did in the intro, but here you go. You can see this is titanium. Has this fantastic finish on the scales. Absolutely love the way they finish these scales and the clip. And then it has these beautiful thumb studs. It's 154 cm. It's got a hollow grind. Beautifully done. Very simple looking knife. You guys know Ray Laconico. D10 on this guy might be a little light. I can fail it if I want to, but for the most part, you just flick it. She goes. You can reverse flick it. She goes. Anyway, those are the materials and a quick look at that knife. Then we have the Rockwall from Tactile Turn. You can see the finish on the scales I was talking about. It's really, really nice. And flat grind on this one. There's a quick look at it. All right. And the Waypoint from Quiet Carry. Again, titanium. Van Eyck super clean on this one. This has a aftermarket edge for my buddy Joe, so I can't take that into consideration. And that reversible clip. Okay, sorry about that. So here we go. Materials. And after showing you guys that, so they're all titanium, and then it comes down basically to the blade, right? Because they all have titanium and titanium clips or a wire clip or whatever, which are all awesome, right? But essentially, you have titanium, and then you have Van Eyck Super Clean, 154 cm, and 20 CV. I'm going to give it to the Van Eyck Super Clean all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. I want Van Eyck Super Clean on both these knives. I want it on everything. As opposed to MagnaCut, I think it makes sense on EDC knives. I think it makes sense on almost every knife, except for like an outdoor or heavy use folder, which is where MagnaCut might make sense. So anyway, Quiet Carry is going to get a 3 here, right? And then based on what I just said, I got to give the Tactile Turn 2 because this has 20 CV and it is titanium. It's just milled excellently. That doesn't really come into factor, but I got to mention it. So that's going to get a 2. And then the MBK is going to come in last because we're talking about 154 cm on the blade steel, which is not bad. For me, it works perfectly fine. I don't really care all that much if it's 154 cm. At least it's relatively stainless, which I prefer over things that are not. So you're going to get a 1 here. See, Otter? This is how I draw my 1s, by the way. Price. So, again, let's start from the top. This one's $380. All right. USA made, but $380. This one is $300 USA made. But we're talking about price here, $299. And the Waypoint is $295, made overseas, but yet that price is the lowest. So $295. We're going to get 3 points for the Quiet Carry again, 2 for the Tactile Turn again, 1 for the MBK again. Okay. Perceived value. So I will say that the Quiet Carry Waypoint has built quite a reputation over the last year and a half or so. And when they are in stock, they sell pretty quickly. And then they come back, after like 6 months. And then they sell pretty quickly again. It has died off a little bit with the introduction of the drift and everything. But it's still a very highly coveted knife, a very popular knife, and they go pretty quickly on the secondary, etc. But they're not going at above retail at all or anything. You probably get it on the secondary now. $295 retail, $250 probably on the secondary if somebody's trying to move it. The Tactile Turn Rockwall thumb stud just came out, literally just dropped, but it still took like 2 days or so for it to sell out. So I don't know how coveted this knife is really. I haven't seen a huge clamoring for it or anything. Definitely some hype around it for sure. But I'm not sure if it's more than the Waypoint, right? Perceived value, I don't think you're going to see these going for more than retail. And these were doing that at one point. So I don't know quite where to put these two. This one, the Sea Otter, for sure is the winner in perceived value to me because they're very hard to get right now, and people will pay more than table price. I didn't. I got mine for $370 on the secondary, but it was from a friend, so you know, I didn't have to pay. You know, I think full retail is $380. So I even paid a little less, I think. But my friend got it at the show, the Blade Show West. So there's that. But yeah, this one definitely gets the 3 points. I got to give it to that. Because you could probably sell one of these on the secondary. If you really wanted to be a dick, you could probably sell it for like $500 and get that right now. So there's that. I'm not sure where to rank these. I think maybe just solely based on this being brand new, I'd give it to this maybe. Yeah, let's just do that. So we'll give 2 points to the tactile turn and 1 to the QC. That could go the other way, but we're just going to go with that. Aesthetics. So this one's really interesting because they're all very fucking similar. That's why I wanted to do this. They're basically like a small, medium, and a large of the same design, right? I mean, you could see differences for sure. I'm not saying any of them copied the other one. That wasn't my point. They're just very similar, and that's why I wanted to do this. Both of these have a hollow grind. This one has a flat grind. This one has that absolutely gorgeous micro milling. I mean, I hope it's coming across. They did an absolutely fantastic job. I love the way the clip sits on this one. I really like how that sits. I like the studs a lot. They're very, very sexy, these studs. You can see the milling on the pivot is really cool looking as well, in my opinion. And then when it's open, I think it looks fantastic as well. Very thin blade. So this one aesthetically is very nice. The Waypoint also, to me, is super sexy. I really like this design. I like it a little better than the Drift just because it's a little more unique. You know, it's got the quiet carry holes in there. It's got the wire clip, which I always really like. Very clean handle. I think this is the stone-washed handle. Could be the Bead Blast. I don't know. I feel like I've tried to get the Bead Blast before, and I always end up with this handle. So maybe this is that. I don't know. To me, it looks like Stonewash. Then you have a gorgeous satin finish on here. That's one thing I really like about this is the satin. This one has a stonewash finish. Then you have the MBK Sea Otter, which to me is just a fantastic Ray Laconico design. As much as I said I love these thumb studs, how cool they look, these are even nicer to me. I just love how they pop. That pop of like silver, the way they did the hardware just looks really cool. I love how clean this knife is. You guys know Ray. Simple clip, but looks good. And then you open her up, and man, that profile just speaks to me. I don't know what it is, but that profile just really, really shouts to me. Yeah, so I think I got to give 3 points to the MBK on this one. And the 2 points. Which one do I like better aesthetically? You know, as much as I love that micro milling and the studs, I think I just like the look of this better. I like the blade length to the handle. I don't know. This one looks a little short for the handle sometimes. I don't know. I love just the way this blade looks mean like that, where this one looks a little more subdued. I love that satin finish too. That really knocks it over the edge for me. The studs aren't as nice, but you know what? That's okay. Are these studs the same? No. Okay. All right. So quiet carry gets 2. And tactile knife gets 1. 2, 1, right? Ergos. So another, these are all going to be similar because of the way they are, you know. I love the ergos on this knife. My index finger fits right into here. and then wraps around. It's a big enough knife. This is the biggest one, obviously. I think it's a like 3.3 inch blade or something like that. Just fits really nice in hand. You could choke up here if you wanted to, but there's no need. It just feels good in hand like this. Everything feels pretty good to manipulate ergonomically. I can get behind that flick pretty easily. It's just very comfortable in hand, this knife. The tactile rock wall, same thing. I mean, it feels really good in hand, especially left-handed, because that clip isn't getting in your palm. You could choke up again if you wanted to, but really no need. For flicking and everything, again, you can get behind everything pretty well. No issues there. Feels pretty damn good in hand. Then there's the Sea Otter, and again, same thing. They all have the same kind of index finger cutout, and I do fit all 4 on here, so I just fit all 4. Again, can choke up if I want to. Getting to everything is pretty simple on this one as well. I will say the reverse flick takes a little more effort to climb down and then get under it, because the way the D10 styled, you can't like flick out, you have to flick up, so you got to kind of climb under it to flick it up like that. I may or may not ask them to strengthen this detent because it just feels a little weak to me. Just very easy to fail. I don't know. I'm going to ask if that's normal and go from there. But anyway, I like them all ergonomically, honestly. This in hand, this in hand, and this in hand. Interesting. This one's a lot slimmer, it feels like. Doesn't necessarily feel worse. This one's got a little more meat to it. Okay, so I think I gotta go 3, 2, 1. So tactile 3 points, MBK 2, and quiet carry 1. And you know, you'd think it would have went by size there, but I think just the way they fill your hand a little bit. The tactile has kind of a medium there. It's a little bit thicker than the Waypoint and a little bit bigger than the Sea Otter. And the Sea Otter is a little bit thicker than this, but a little bit smaller. So, yeah, it is very comfortable, though. But that's how I'm going to rank that. Cutting. So, is an interesting category. I always say that, sorry. So the Waypoint has this super slim blade, and yes, it has a edge on it from my buddy, but just very slicey. I mean, I've always enjoyed cutting with the Waypoint. This does not have a hollow grind, okay? Factory edge on this one. Also, fantastic. Then you have the hollow grind, basically hand done by Ray Laconico on the MBK. Now, you're talking a thicker stock. I mean, you're talking pretty much like double the stock, triple the stock maybe. I mean, look at that. To the Waypoint, and let's see. Yeah. So, let's see. So I'd say it feels... That's just me sucking, right? There we go. Damn, they're all very slicey. They're all obviously going to get the job done. And they all felt really good, honestly. I think I would have to rank them in order of the way I just cut. Just because of... you're basically going from slimmest to next slimmest to thickest, right? And this one's pretty thick, but it has that hollow grind, which helps a little bit. It does feel really good cutting, and so does this, but the quiet carry just, I don't know, I've always enjoyed cutting with it, especially if you're cutting like cardboard or something. So, and I've had one with the factory edge for a while, so I definitely have the feel for it. And I'm just going to go 3, 2, 1. So, quiet carry 3, tactile 2, and MBK 1. Carry. So, me personally, this is going to go immediately to the Waypoint. It's going to get 3 points. It is the slimmest. It also has a lefty clip. And it's the deep carry wire clip. Makes perfect sense, right? Even right-handed, this would be number 1 because of the profile and the deep carry clip. Rockwall would be number 2 because of the deep carry clip. And some people have complained about this clip. It's fantastic. It goes in pocket so easy. So I think they've adjusted it from the flipper version, if you had that one. So you get the deep carry. Obviously, it's a little bit slimmer. That makes sense. And then this would be number 3 because it does not have a deep carry clip. It still carries really well. Tension's really good. Size is good. I will note that I actually ran my hand down it when I put it in my front right pocket one time. I tried carrying that way, and I don't know if you can see the edge. It's not really close, but I could feel it. And I swear when I put my hand past it, it's my hand got in there somehow. I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but I don't think it's an issue. But anyway, we're going to go 3, 2, 1 again. 3, 2, 1. Sounds. Okay. So, let's just go in order of the ones we've had. Nice tactile clack out. A little click in. You'll notice I'm using my finger to close this one. Decent sounds, but nothing crazy, right? The tactile just freaking thunderbolts out of there because of the way they set up these studs. It's just crazy how it rockets out. And then on closing, pretty good. MBK, pretty subdued on the out, pretty subdued on the close. Right? So I think tactile goes first, quiet carry goes second, MBK goes third. So 3, 2, 1. Fit and finish. Okay, so all right. So I think this is going to be very weird. So bear with me, guys. This one I got this week. No, this one when I got it. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. This one, I think I've had it over a week at least at this point. Yeah. Sorry. When I got this one, when I was doing the unboxing, I was hearing a weird sound. And I said, what the hell is that sound, right? Well, after the video, I realized the studs were loose. They were literally just spinning off. They fell off right after the video. So I had to obviously Loctite those down and then not touch it for 2 days to let them cure and everything. So that is a fit and finish issue in my opinion. You can also see how they don't line up where they're turned. And I don't know if they were before, but I didn't line them up when I just tightened them down. So there wasn't really a way to line them up. It is dead centered. Clip is good. This milling obviously is fantastic. Might be the slightest bit of lock stick, but I wouldn't really call it that. No lock rock. I mean, I can feel the slightest bit, but I could probably do it to most knives. No blade play. So yeah, pretty good overall. I mean, but it had that, I would call it an issue with the studs for sure. But You know, the milling is great. The chamfering, all that stuff is fantastic. They've been making pens for a while, so they know what they're doing when it comes to that stuff. You can see the milling in here on these angles and everything look really good. So there's all that, right? Then you have the Quiet Carry Waypoint, which honestly, fit and finish on this knife is impeccable. I have not noticed a single issue with this knife. Everything is flush, everything is chamfered very nicely. Didn't have to adjust the pivot, didn't have to, mess with it. I just flipped the clip. That was it. It's dead nut centered. Thumb stud stayed on. There was no lock stick whatsoever. Washers are fantastic. The satin finish is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I have nothing to complain about with the fit and finish on here, and I just think it looks awesome, the stone washing on here. Then you have the Monterey Bay knives, Sea Otter, and this essentially is like a hand custom, right? This is made in a shop with, multiple employees working on machines and whatnot. This is sort of like that, but it's more like 2 or 3 people making it by hand, right? So it's kind of like a custom. And with that, you're going to have some issues, right? When I got this, the centering was off, which basically was a assembly issue. I just had to, when I took it apart and put it back together, I just had to get the pivot to the right spot and it was centered. So, but that has to go into fit and finish, right? There's absolutely no blade play, on this guy. There's no lock rock. I mean, it's a freaking tank. I did polish the washers, so it does drop like that now. Thumb studs had no issue at all, but I did have a little bit of detent lash, and I sent it in, and they took care of it. They just reset the detent, and it's the detent ball is fine. I think the detent got lighter somehow. I don't know if I'm crazy, but I think it is meant to be front flipped as well, right-handed. I've never been able to do it. I could try. Hey, look at that. Look at that. I can't ever do it left-handed, though. I feel like it's just going to cut me or something. Was that the blade or the stud? Jesus. Anyway, fit and finish seemed really, really good. I love the finish on the scales. All of that stuff feels fantastic. Clip is good. But I did have that issue with centering in the detent lash, and I have to count that against it, right? So this is a tough one, but honestly, I think the 3 points goes to Quiet Carry. I mean, I know this is the one made overseas and everything, but their fit and finish is just impeccable. I don't know what else to say. And then I think I'd go to MBK just because this one had like a pretty big issue with the studs falling off, although this one had the detent lash. So it's pretty close. I mean, it's really close. I don't know which one really would be better in terms of fit and finish, but I have heard of people saying their detent ball fell out of this one. I've heard issues of other issues with the knife, and I haven't really heard any complaints about the Sea Otter. And that detent lash I spoke of was like me being super anal about it. So yeah, I'm going to give it to the Sea Otter. So 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Action. Okay, so all right, let's knock this out real quick. This one has to be last. As much as I love the fact that it probably has the best thumb flick out of all of these, because of the way the detent styled and where these studs are, it just absolutely fires out of there. You can reverse flick it. It does hurt after a while, again, because of that strong sort of detent feel, because of where these studs are, where you're flicking up against the frame almost. And, I guess you could flick it out if you wanted to, but it's just a stiff sort of feeling, which normally I like, but it feels a little too stiff, which I know is getting a little bit picky, but that's what I'm doing here, right? Now, the reason it's last is this lock bar access. I'm still baffled by this, how this really got through prototyping. Because of where you push on here, you just can't get enough leverage to push it all the way off the lock bar and over to the side. So what ends up happening is the knife can't fall past the detent or whatever and get to where you can give it the shake. Because once it does, it's very smooth. The bearings are nice. It feels fantastic. There's a little bit of a grit feeling here, but that's pretty much just the detent ball rubbing on the stonewash, and it will break in given time. But like sometimes you get lucky and it drops, but most times this is what happens, and you're doing this, fighting it, and then doing that. So what you end up doing is this. Just using your finger to push it down, and then you can shake it, right? And maybe some people don't care about that, but I do. It bugs the ever-living shit out of me. I want a knife to drop like that, right? That's what I want. Left-handed, fantastic, because the cutout doesn't really matter. Left-handed, you just push it over, get it out of the way. I honestly think this knife is better for lefties, but dedicated lefties. Like I like using my right hand to disengage a lot because I like drop shut. This isn't a slouch in the action department. You can see there. I mean, it really fires out. It's the first time I ever failed it. You're never going to have this detent fail you. It is very good. But it's last for that reason. So now, that gives that a 1. That leaves these two. And the detent on this one's better. You can see there, it fires. I can reverse flick it. No problem. Excellent. This one, the detent is much weaker. And it is bugging me a little bit how weak it is. Now, I can just say, hey, I'm going to flick it. And it's fine. It's not really a big deal, but, you know, sometimes I'm like, I just want to flick my knife, and it doesn't deploy all the way, right? Reverse flick is harder because of that. Because you got to climb under it, make sure you're kind of going vertical and flicking. So what happens a lot is this. Right now, I'm going to get it every time. Is that, where it doesn't deploy all the way. I just would like it to be a little bit stronger. And I probably could ask for that and send it in, and they'd probably take care of it. But I've failed this knife more than any of these 3 because of that weaker detent. Because sometimes I just don't hammer it out, right? But it feels fantastic to flick out. It really does. It feels good. It doesn't quite hammer the way that one and this one do, but it still feels very satisfying. And luckily it's a smaller knife, so I get more power behind it because my thumb builds up more of an angle. You see where my thumb is right here? On this knife, it's going to be lower because I have more handle to hang on to. So I'm pushing from a different angle, right? Whereas on this one, I'm kind of backed up under it, and I get a lot of power under it. I hope that makes sense. So you have that, but on the close, it drops, right? And it is very satisfying to have a knife drop like that. And it's the only one of these 3 that does that. So this is a fun thing to do. Now, you also have that front flipper if you so desire to learn how to do it, which apparently I'm learning tonight how to do. Now, the Waypoint flicks so good, like I said. On the close, it has no close. Like, you know, it's not made to be dropped shut. Whereas this one has bearings and is meant to have smooth closing action and just doesn't let you because of this lock bar, right? This one, you push the lock bar is so easy to disengage. You just slide it over, move your finger down, and as weird as it is, I enjoy opening and closing this one, the Waypoint, much more than I do this one. And I don't mind it on this because I know that that's how it's supposed to be on the washers and everything, and it just doesn't bother me. So this is obviously a subjective category, but I like this one better, and I probably would say this one's the best because you get a little bit of a drop action on it. So 3, 2, 1. 3, 2. All right, leftability is the last category. So That's just going to have to go to the Waypoint because it has the lefty clip. I can thumb flick it and I can reverse flick it and no problem. And honestly, because you can't drop it to a nail or anything, it's basically it's basically ambidextrous, Absolutely love, as a lefty, the Waypoint. Tactile turn works well left-handed, and again, I said this one probably works better left-handed than it does right-handed because of that lock bar cutout, right? So that being said, I kind of have to give it to this one next because it works fantastically left-handed. Not that this one doesn't. Flicks out, all of that stuff. But these two are liner locks. This one's a frame lock, so you could have some lock bar issues, although because of the detent, it doesn't really matter. You can't really lock it up. So, I don't know, but I got to give them some order. So, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right. So, that's it, guys. Let's count them up, and then we can do a closeout and be done with it. That was something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm grateful that I'm finally able to do it. Let me move these down a little bit, I guess. So we have, oh God, I need like a calculator. No, I'm just kidding. 6, 7, 9, 10, 13, 16, 18, and 3 is 21, and 2 is 23, and 3 is 26. I'm guessing that's our winner. 2, 4, 6, 7, and 3 is 10, 12, 14, and 3 is 17, and 18, 19, and 2 is 21. Wow. 1, 2, 5, 8, 10, 13, and 2 is 15, and 3 is 18, and 1 is 19. Look at that. So they went in order. And your winner is the Waypoint. And I kind of saw that coming because I would maybe say out of these three. So I will say right now, I'm contemplating. I'm going to do a pretty big knife sale soon. And this one's definitely going. And I've contemplated this one a few times in my mind already, selling the Sea Otter. And mostly it's because of that detent. I just want it to be a little stronger. So I may reach out to them. But I literally just got it back from them for that detent latch. And I hate bugging Sanford about shit like this. But I'd probably sell it if it stayed the way it is. With that detent. So I don't know. So I kind of want to send it to him. But then I'll get it back and then it'll be too stiff and then I'll complain about that. It's just, I don't want to be a dick, but I don't know. So that's just what I'm thinking. I just wish it was a little stronger and maybe slammed out a little bit more. I don't know if it would cause issues on the reverse flick left-handed. I also can get used to it, and I kind of have, you can see. So I don't know. I may also just leave it alone and keep it. I don't know. I'm very torn on it. I love it. I love the design. I love that it's USA made. I love that it's made with those beautiful hands that Sanford Owen has. I'm just kidding. But I love Sanford, right? I love Ray. I love Richie and Lindy, and I just love that. So I want to have one because of that. And look at that overall design. It's just absolutely stunning. So we'll see what happens. I may talk to Sanford and see what he says about it. But like the Quiet Carry Waypoint, I don't want this to go anywhere. Now, granted, this was sent to me by Quiet Carry. I didn't pay for it. I did pay for these two. But that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it does mean that I won't sell it because I don't sell knives that I get for free like that. I will give them away, but I won't sell them. And I don't plan on giving this away right now, obviously, because I'm really loving it. And it's just one of those knives that, I want to have for certain purposes. And honestly, just to have, if I'm really doing stuff where I need like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, if I'm going on a hike or something like that, I'd probably want this in my pocket because of how lightweight it is, yet capable because of the size of the blade. It won't rust because of my ass juice. Like, it just has a lot of good properties, and one of them is not being fidgety. It's not super fidgety, but it is fun to play with nonetheless. It's weird. So I really just love this one. And then this one just meh. This was kind of a meh for me, sadly. I do look forward to what they do in the future over at Tactile Knife Co. because they definitely have the chops, and they have something going there. They just haven't nailed it for me personally yet out of the two locking knives they've done, you know? So I'm going to keep picking them up as they come out, and hopefully, you know, one of them is going to strike me well. Hopefully, maybe they'll do something left-handed at some point. And again, I just love Monterey Bay knives, so it's hard for me not to love this knife. And it's just, out of the three, it's obviously the most sexy, right? Like, it's just absolutely stunning. But let's put them in order of how they ranked. Sadly, the overseas knife took the win. I know a lot of guys are going to hate that, but hey, man, that's how good shit is overseas, you know? And then you got Texas and you got California on the board. So that's it, guys. That's the battle. That's the battle of the studs. Let me know what you think. Is there one that you would pick over these or out of these? Do you like them all? Do you not like them all? What's your reasoning? Is it because you like smaller knives or you like larger knives? Is it like me where Van-X is super important? Like, that is a super important thing to have on a knife for me. If all the Magna Cut hype got replaced with Van-X hype and everybody and their mom was saying it was going to be on their next knife, I would be so excited. But Magna Cut's just not doing that for me. Like, I want Van-X on everything. You know, I don't know. But anyway, that's it, guys. I love you all. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.